morning, everybody. We are back to Big Man Campus. We are live. NFL Week 6, October 16, 2016. My name is Jeff. They call me the Big Man Campus. Here with my co-host, Ryan D'Amico. Ryan, we're back. Another week. It's Week 6. We're rumbling through NFL. That music means one thing. The big boys are ready to go on a fall day in October. Doesn't get any better than this. This is what you live for, Ryan. You get college football on Saturdays. You get nice cool weather when you walk outside. You get NFL on Sunday. Is anything better?
Hard to get it better. Hard to beat for sure. Yeah, pretty interesting day in college football yesterday. Not a lot of crazy things happened in college football yesterday for the most part. It was pretty kind of close to the vest, I guess you could say. Clemson escapes, Ohio State escapes, but no really major upsets. Alabama kind of asserts themselves once again. But, yeah, we flipped the page to today in the NFL, and, there's some okay matchups. But as far as like the 1 o'clock games go, man, I mean, I know you and I, obviously, as everyone is aware, will be watching the Eagles game. But, if the Eagles had like a bye this week as opposed to last week, the 1 o'clock games this week are in my opinion, are pretty poor. You get to the 4 o'clock, there's some really good matchups at 4 o'clock. So, but yeah, it should be fun. We look to kind of keep going and keep building. You'll give the record out here in a second, but we're doing pretty decent as of late. So
now, right, I want to preface this to all the listeners out there. This show is absolutely free. We don't charge for this. We give out a free pick for every game. We don't save plays. We're giving out the best play for every game. So, if there's a game we don't like, we still give a play for it.
Right.
We're 13-11, 54% over our last 2 weeks. Now, we say the last 2 weeks because this is the first couple weeks we've been giving out a play for every game. And we're going to do this for the rest of the year. So if we're bad, we're going to be bad for the rest of the year. That's how it goes. But these are free plays for every game. No matter who plays, we're going to give a play. And each of us are going to give a play. And we're going to cumulatively count all of them. So, we're doing pretty well. I had a great week 4. I think we were 4-6 in week 5. We had a great 1 o'clock slate last week, but our 4 o'clock slate wasn't very good. So hopefully we can go out and have a good day today. The good thing about today, Ryan, doesn't matter who's playing. It's all about who's covering the number. And we'll try to do that for the listeners here today. Before we do get into that, you mentioned yesterday in college, I had a winning day with my plays, Ryan, for my clients. We had a winning week. However, really should have been 5-0. The 2 losses were absolutely brutal. And if I may, for 1 minute, Ryan, I just want to vent on those. We were watching it live. I think Sean was on it as well. Florida under the total. A brutal beat.
It's bad when it's a common occurrence for these kids why is it a common occurrence for onside kicks to be taken to the house?
And it's almost expected anymore.
That's what I mean. It's a common thing.
But I actually point to the Missouri coach even more. I mean, you're down 20 points. What are you kicking onside for with 40 seconds to go? I mean, it's just a mental midget mistake. And they run the onside kickback. That's happened twice to me this year, where a kid has covered a spreader number by running the onside kickback. That one loses. We also had Middle Tennessee State, which I don't know if it was a brutal beat, but it was just a poor game. I mean, Middle Tennessee had a lead. They happened to they weren't able to bend the clock. They allowed West Kentucky to get back into the game, take it to overtime, then miss an extra point. Middle Tennessee does just kind of brutal stuff, and you hope that stuff evens out.
It's funny because the head coach probably wonders why he's at Middle Tennessee State. Well, I can tell you why, because instead of running the ball, keep running the ball, he decided to get fancy and try to throw a screen, which was incomplete.
But Ryan, unfortunately, that's what they do
if
there.
That's completed, there's 40 seconds taken off the clock. Instead of them getting the ball back with 1:20 left, they're getting the ball back with under a minute. Probably don't have enough time to go the length of the field like they did. And that's kind of stuff that happens. Because I was on that game as well. I was on the Houston-Tulsa over, which I lose by half of a football length. So
yeah, another brutal beat.
Another great play design where the fucking guy, it's a good play design, except for one problem. The guy doesn't run his route into the end zone.
Yeah, it doesn't really make a lot of
I
sense
don't get
either.
it.
You have two quality receivers, Kevon Lucas and Josh Atkinson, weren't involved with the play at all. You throw to a backup tight end.
I don't mind the play call if he just would have ran his route in the end zone. And oh, by the way, the play before that, Houston has 13 guys on the field. By the way, if you're not very smart, you're only allowed to have 11 defensive players on the field per time at a time. They had 13,
Ryan,
and two of the people that were extra on the field, one of the guys lines up offside.
You don't seem to understand.
And makes the play.
That would have covered the number. You have to understand the games.
I'm just saying.
These games are coming down to the wire that, you look at yesterday. I mean, I just want to quickly point this out. UConn came through the back door. Temple had no business winning. They come through the back door.
If you had UCF, that's pretty bad.
If you had Washington State, a brutal backdoor. I mean, a backup quarterback who had no business being on the field against Washington State in the rain comes back and backdoors. Stanford comes. I mean, Notre Dame. I mean, Brian Kelly. It's time to look at Brian Kelly.
You couldn't back them. You can't back them.
But let's move on to the NFL. The good thing is, Ryan, yesterday, I had a winning day. At the end of the day, it was a winning day. Could have been a lot better. However, it is what it is. Nathan Jones, what's up? Lex Kosh, Sean Harnish. Everyone out there listening who isn't on the chat box, welcome. If you do want to interact with us, chat about a game, feel free. Spreaker app, just hit the little message icon. You can come on and chat with us. Ryan, let's jump in to NFL Week 6 if we can. We're going to start out 1 o'clock Eastern, New England Patriots -7 against the Cincinnati Bengals over under 47. I think if you were looking at this before the season, you were zeroing in on Week 6 and saying, wow, that's going to be a great game between New England and Cincinnati. Not right now. Cincinnati going in the total opposite direction. You got Tom Brady making his home opener after his Deflategate suspension. You think this Bengals team is off a bad loss to Dallas. I mean, really were never in that game. They've covered 12 of 19 on the road, have the Bengals, though, so they do play pretty well on the road. But, their run game has been non-existent. They haven't had a 100-yard rusher in any game this year. And, you look at this New England offense, so multi-talented. I mean, Martellus Bennett's added a huge arsenal to that weaponry. 314 yards and 4 touchdowns to go along with Gronk and, some of their other playmakers. And this offense is just unstoppable. And this Bengals defense really isn't the same defense that we're accustomed to. This is a bad spot, I think, for a Cincinnati team going the opposite direction. I want to think they can hang here, but, I don't really think they can. I'm going to lay the number here with New England at home. Not probably going to play the game, but as a free play, I'm going to go with New England here. I just see the Bengals going in the wrong direction.
I think at some point, and I talked about it with college, at some point you just need to – now, look, I get it's only week 6, but we're starting to get to that point where you just need to kind of look at these teams and say, this team's good, this team's average, or this team's bad. I think Cincinnati's just not a good football team. For whatever reason, a lot of things going on. They're just not very good. Same can be said with the Panthers. Same can be said with the Cardinals. I just don't think these are good football teams, and people are waiting for them to turn around. I just don't personally see it happening. Cincinnati got absolutely manhandled up front last week, just absolutely destroyed. Everyone thought defensive line was going to hang with Dallas. That wasn't the case. A couple injuries. Eifert, he's out again, so they don't have his big play potential down the red zone. And then for the Patriots, Jamie Collins is going to be out. Those are the two key injuries for the game. Look, I would lean Patriots as well. I can't back Cincinnati right now. I really cannot. First home game back for Tom Brady. That's kind of enough for me. They should kind of be able to have their way, I feel like, with Cincinnati. Cincinnati just doesn't have that same kind of gusto that they've had the last couple of years where you kind of feel confident in them, at least in the regular season.
No, I know. And like I said, they haven't really been able to run the ball at all. Andy Dalton, I watched them last week against the Dallas Cowboys. Didn't look good at all. They just don't have that same gusto, which I'm pretty surprised
Gronk
with.
and Bennett are turning into really a really troublesome 1-2
Yeah, they look like Aaron Hernandez and Rob Gronkowski, and that's what they should have been.
Yep.
Bennett, again, a guy that's a little bit older, but still very much getting it done.
Yep.
And you had that to Julian Edelman and the other, what's the other kid? Amendola. Really unbelievable offense there. But, so yeah, we agree. We'll go with the New England Patriots -7. Always a good bet, especially with terrific Tom at home off his suspension, first home game. Bengals have a lot of their weapons, have lost some of their weapons. Yes, Sanu, Marvin Jones. Good point. I mean, that's what trades do to you. A.J. Green, kind of the go-to option, but he's kind of been average.
It's had a couple big games, but I mean, it's kind of hard when you got people double teaming you every game.
Yeah, and even with Eifert out, they really don't have that much in that offense now that we're accustomed to. Guys, if you're listening, please retweet the show. It's always important. It allows us to get some new listeners at times and whatever. So if you can, please retweet the show if you're listening live on Twitter. AJ Green sucks. This year, I wouldn't say he sucks. He's just getting double teamed, like Ryan said.
I think that's
probably top 5 receiver.
It's a really big stretch.
I mean, he's second in the league in receiving yards. Yeah, so I wouldn't say he sucks.
I wouldn't say he sucks at all, to be honest.
Yeah, that's a little bit ridiculous. How the hell do I lose my Central Florida bet last night? Temple, you allowed P.J. Walker to march down the field.
73 yards.
Yeah,
30-some seconds.
No offense.
That can't happen.
Right, and that's what Central Florida does, Ryan. I mean, unfortunately. Let's move on to the next game, Ryan. 1 o'clock Eastern. New York Giants -3.5 against the Baltimore Ravens. Over under 44. New York Giants 1-4, Ryan, against the spread this year. They're not getting to the money. Both teams having trouble scoring this year. Both of them under 20 points a game. Offenses haven't been pretty. Baltimore, though, looking pretty good on the defensive end, allowing just 17 points per game. But this is really a must-win for the New York Giants. And this team, Eli Manning has sucked. Beckham has been very average, caught his first touchdown pass last week. They have a good wide receiving core, Ryan. It's just Eli Manning can't get them the ball on a significant basis. And then you look at the Ravens. New offensive coordinator, Marty Morningweg, going to be the offensive coordinator at Baltimore. How's that going to work? Is that going to come out and kind of rear its head early? I don't think so. I mean, Joe Flacco and this offense haven't really moved the ball that well this year. I want to take the Giants here, but first of all, the line sucks. I don't like the way they're moving the offense, and there's certain people on it that I don't want to be on it. So, I'm going to take a shot. I just don't really think the Giants are very good. I'm going to go with Baltimore here. I think it's a decent number.
I don't think either one of these teams are very good, to be honest with you, Jeff. I think the Ravens were kind of fortunate with the early part of their schedule they were fortunate to kind of have some easier games to start. And they're not playing well as of late. They have coming off back-to-back home losses to Oakland and to Washington. 2 games that they probably should have won. They probably feel like they should have won, but they found ways to lose. Now they got to go to New York and take on a very desperate Giants team who the lack of a running game, and even for the last couple of years, just really kind of hurts this team. But I think, no C.J. Mosley today, no Steve Smith. I think that's going to hurt them. I think just a desperate Giants team. I lean Giants. I do. I lean Giants. I think they win this game anywhere from, somewhere around a touchdown. That's just kind of my gut feeling.
Yeah, with a number 3.5, I'm going to take a shot with Baltimore here. I think their defense is pretty good, and Eli Manning has looked bad. To be honest, I'm good. I'm going to go Baltimore. You're going to go 3.5. You want to go with the Giants here?
Yep.
All right. You are aware who's on that game, right?
I'm aware.
All right, so we're on both sides there. We're splitting that one, Ryan. However, we'll point out, not going to be on my card either. Both these games, first 2 games, I'm not going to be betting personally. My college and pro teams suck. I can't wait for Duke basketball to be in. Yes, I would think down there, if you in that area, Nate, you would not be happy with the Notre Dame football. I know you're a Notre Dame fan.
Yep.
Don't know who you like in the pros, but maybe Carolina. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not sure who he likes.
But yeah, Duke basketball.
I think he's a Is he a Bengals? No. I can't remember.
Either way, Duke basketball's going to save him here. I think
they should.
You would think. Ryan, you are a sick fuck if you ride with him. Yes, you are, Ryan.
Well,
you do know how bad he is.
Kid picks. I'll tell you one thing. I'm not betting the game, so
you don't care.
It's not really a big deal to me. That's kind of the way I would lean. But
so as you can see, we're both split on that game.
The first 2 games, like Jeff said,
yeah, we're split on that game. So there's really not a great opinion either way.
Yep.
1 o'clock Eastern. This is another game. You probably think this should be a pretty decent game. Early on in the year. Carolina Panthers -3 at the Saints. over under 53.5 or 54. Very high total here for clear reasons. Panthers are on 1-4. If I told you that at the beginning of the season, you would probably think I'm nuts. Cam Newton is probable in this game. Will be back off a concussion. You talk about desperation. I think you have that today with Carolina. They're just desperate. However, New Orleans covered 10 of 13 as an underdog. And you look at 2 road games for Carolina, their defense is giving up 35 points a game, Ryan. However, you're facing the worst defense in the NFL from the Saints, who give up almost 33 points a game. You really need an MVP-type performance there from Cam Newton. And you look at what he's done over the years against the Saints. Last 3 games, 12 touchdowns. So, he's really owned this Saints team. And this Saints defense is bad at the end of the day. 3 of the last 4 in the series have gone over the total. But 54 is very high. I wouldn't bet against the over here, though. I'm going to go with the desperate Panthers team. I don't want to do it. I considered the Saints here just because I think Drew Brees is a much better quarterback right now. They do have some weapons, but I just can't trust them defensively. I think in the NFL, sometimes desperation will pay. I'm going to lay the number here on the road. I think it's desperate. I'm going to go Carolina.
Both offenses in this game are back healthy with Cam Newton. Jonathan Stewart's playing. Kelvin Benjamin's good. Willie Snead's back 100%. Drew Brees at home in that dome. In my opinion, I know it seems kind of square, but to me, points should really kind of come in this game. I like the over 53. I don't think that's too high at all, to be honest with you. Drew Brees at home, usually they score in the 30s, and you're telling me that Drew Brees is going to be held in check by a 4th-round pick and a 5th-round pick that they're trotting out there in the secondary with Carolina. Their secondary has been terrible the entire year. I mean, you saw what Atlanta did at home against them. What's Drew Brees and company going to be able to do today? And vice versa. Everyone knows how bad the Saints team is defensively, and with Cam Newton and his weapons, he should be able to move the ball. So I like the over in this spot.
Yeah, I wouldn't say no to that, Ryan. I mean, I think both these guys will be able to.
And I probably would lean Carolina for a side, but I think just a lot of points are going to be scored.
Yeah, I think we'll double down. I mean, you're going to go over. I'm going to go Panthers. I think it's a good 1-2 combination here. Maybe you do a combination parlay bet with both these sides, over in Carolina. I think it's a pretty good play. I think Carolina is desperate for a win, and I think the over is a pretty good play as well. But very square up, by the way, Ryan. Could definitely come just under the total for whatever, 28-24 or something. But we'll take a shot here, over in Carolina. You would lean Carolina if you had
Probably.
to. Kirk Coleman will lock some down. Doubt it.
For whatever reason, he always seems to get an interception, though. One of the leaders in interceptions over the last couple of years, but he's still a 6th, 7th-round draft pick for a reason.
Yeah, this secondary for Carolina is terrible.
They're bad.
They're really bad.
That's why I'd be hard pressed to go with the side here. Just it's a coin flip to me. Both these teams are terrible defensively.
And I hear you, but I've so much learned in betting anymore that when something looks too good to be true, it normally is.
Sure.
Like yesterday, Houston-Tulsa. That looked like a grade A overplay.
Yep.
Loses by half a point. That's just how it goes. But we're going to go over in Carolina. Next one, 1 o'clock Eastern. Pittsburgh Steelers -7 at the Miami Dolphins, over under 49. Pittsburgh 4-1 ATS this year. They've covered 21 of 35 overall. Miami, a total opposite. 1-4 ATS. They're 5-12 at home over the last 3 years. And against the AFC North, Ryan, over the last 4 games, Miami Dolphins 0-4 against those teams. It's been a tough year for Miami. I mean, their D has been bad. Ryan Tannehill cannot move the ball. They're averaging only 17.5 points a game. And now they're going to face an offense in the Steelers that, are they really built to keep up in a shootout with this kind of team? It is going to be rainy, kind of a spotty drizzle down in the MIA, but if you're going to bet against Pittsburgh right now, good luck. They're just rolling offensively. This is the polar opposite, Ryan, as far as momentum and efficiency are concerned. You have one team against the other, just going in opposite directions. This is a very square play. I'd imagine Pittsburgh's a heavy public side.
Money coming in on both sides, apparently, from what I've kind of heard. So
yeah, I don't get that. I'm going to go Pittsburgh here. Again, very square side, so I'm not going to go crazy with it. I think in a teaser, get this one down to around a pick 'em. think it's a very solid side. You don't have to worry about the weird number. I'm going to go Pittsburgh here.
One thing I like about Pittsburgh that they've done ever since getting Le'Veon Bell back is they're lining him out wide a lot and really kind of using all their weapons to their advantage with having him out wide and then keeping D'Angelo Williams on the field as well, who has obviously filled in really well for Le'Veon Bell this year and last year, of course. So I really like the fact that they're getting all their playmakers on the field. Sammy Coates is going to be a game-time decision today with a fractured thumb. So that's be something to keep an eye on. He's been their big-time deep threat so far this year. He's been outstanding. But a lot of just the firepower that they have and just how poor Miami has been this year. I mean, Miami is a very, very bad football team, and they just don't do anything well. I mean, Sunday NFL Countdown's like been monitoring Arian Foster, whether he's going to play or not. Like, that's some big fucking deal. Like, who cares? It's Arian Foster. He's 34 years old. Like, he's constantly hurt. Who cares? I don't care if he plays or he doesn't play, to be honest with you. So, maybe it's a square play. I don't think so, just for the fact that Pittsburgh has just been rolling and has had success over a nice period of time that you mentioned. So I just can't bet Miami right now. I can't do it. I picked them a couple weeks ago when they went to New England thinking, yeah, it's a sneaky play, I think. Miami, I think maybe they get it together, and I look stupid because they got shredded. But I'll go Pittsburgh.
Miami's not good at all.
No.
And, it's just, like I said, the polar opposite here as far as efficiency. I mean, Pittsburgh very efficient. Miami just can't get the ball.
I was forced to start Ryan Tannehill last week in one of my fantasy leagues. Now, somehow I still won that game. Somehow. He got me 1 point. For a quarterback to get you 1 point in fantasy football, do you understand how hard that is? You have to be awful.
Yeah, I mean, you got to wonder why they gave him a contract. You got to wonder they have
need
to
move on.
They have to be the king of poor contracts in Miami. I mean,
they need to move on.
I mean, how's an Ndamukong Suh contract working out for you? I mean, really?
Not sure.
Another idiotic move to give a defensive tackle $100.
They're not, and they weren't in position to do that. It's not like he's It's not like he's the final piece
you
needed on defense.
He's not going to win you a game.
But I'm saying if he was the final piece on defense, sure,
right,
but not for a team like Miami.
If you can find me, other t'n maybe J.J. Watt, if you can find me a defensive player that will take over a football game and win it for you, I'd love to hear it. It's definitely not him. Come on. So we're going to go Steelers consensus here. 1 point from quarterback is pretty.
It's terrible.
That's
he was
crazy.
Absolutely awful. I can't even remember who they played last week. Tennessee. That's right. Because he had no touchdown passes and he had 191 yards, guys, and 2 interceptions last week. That comes to 1 point. So,
Papa Bear. Dolphins will pick up Roma next year. It might not be a bad move. It can't be better. It can't be any worse than Tannehill.
All right.
Next one, Ryan. 1 o'clock. Bears minus 2.5 against the Jacksonville Jaguars. Over under 46. Ryan, the Jacksonville Jaguars 1-17 in the last 18 road games. Not very good on the road for the Jacksonville Jags. Then they go to London and win, which doesn't make a lot of sense.
Yeah.
I think they were the home team, though, so it didn't count against their road record. How about that? Ryan, do you happen to know who the NFL's best completion percentage is owned by?
Who was it, Brian Hoyer?
Brian Hoyer.
Yeah, but he's only played, 3 games?
And he's thrown for 300-plus yards in 3 games.
He's looked good.
He's been very good. No interceptions, 6 touchdowns, and like I said, owns the best completion percentage is 71% in the NFL. Both these defenses are struggling, Ryan. Jags giving up 28 a game. Chicago giving up 25. A lot of injuries. Do we have any information on Leonard Floyd, Eddie Goldman, anyone like that? Big defensive tackles. They were out last week, and this defensive team is struggling for Chicago right now. Blake Bortles been average this year. I mean, 6 interceptions, 7 touchdowns. They have no run game to speak of whatsoever. T.J. Yeldon leads them with 155 yards in 6 games. Both these teams really have had trouble running the ball, but Jeremy Langford...
Jordan Howard had a really nice game last week. So.
They're starting to get a run game there with Chicago, and, they're not a great home team. They're 4-14 over the last 18 home games, so 2 teams that really don't win in either spot. But the way Hoyer's playing, the way Bortles has just been average, seems to throw a lot of interceptions, and with no run game to speak of, I think the Bears get a home win here. I like this side here.
I'd go Bears as well, actually. Jordan Howard,
Hoyer's
like I said,
great.
Jordan Howard was really kind of came to kind of what they expected last week. Gave them a nice big lift, and then Hoyer, you talked about, has been fantastic. And defensively, a couple weeks ago, when they beat Detroit at home and just really kind of shut down Matthew Stafford and put together a really good game and could have won last week as well had it not been for a late touchdown by Frank Gore in that Indianapolis game. They were up by 1 at one point, and Indy goes up late. I slight lean to Chicago, yeah. Two teams that are just really kind of poor. Jacksonville, another team people thought was going to take a step this year. Looks like that obviously is not the case. I'll side with Chicago for being at home. Their quarterback is playing better, and I like what they're getting from Jordan Howard.
Yeah, I agree with you, and I think defensively they're better than Jacksonville. So, yeah, I just can't back a team that's 1-17 in their last 18 road games. That's just really hard to do. So we agree. Bears -2.5 to play in this one. 1 o'clock Eastern. Buffalo Bills -7.5 against the 49ers. Over under 44.5. Colin Kaepernick, Ryan, the black compatriot for black rights, is in today for the San Francisco 49ers. He's now a vegan. He's totally changed his life. And I have to say, Ryan, I know a lot of people don't like Colin Kaepernick. I agree with what Colin Kaepernick's doing. I think he's making a stance. I think he's really proved a point, to be honest. And I think today he's going to have a pretty damn good game, Ryan. I think he is. I think he's going to come out and say, fuck you to all the haters out there and do his thing. With afro and all. Have you seen that afro?
It's hard to miss.
How about that afro? One of the best afros you'll ever find. I do find that Colin Kaepernick is acting a little bit blacker than he may be.
You think?
Yeah. He was raised by white people, but again, I do understand where he's going. He's trying to prove a point. I think he is. He's putting his money up, which I respect. He's donating a lot of money. I think Colin Kaepernick is a true pioneer for what he's trying to do. But today, he's going to have to come in and play football, and it's a tough spot here. You got to go on the road to Buffalo, who, you look at Buffalo, they've won 3 in a row. They've beaten Arizona, New England, and the Rams. Covered all 3 of those games, and they've been very balanced, Ryan. Throwing the football. LaShawn McCoy's been versatile in the backfield. And you look at what the San Francisco team's done on the road defensively this year. It's been a fucking mess. 42 points per game in 2 road games they've given up. And now you're going to go face a hot team on the road. By the way, Ryan, Buffalo, second in the NFL, allowing just 6 touchdowns in 16 red zone trips. They're second only to the Carolina Panthers in red zone defense efficiency. They're also very good on the defensive end as well. Just 12.3 points a game they've allowed over the last 3. I want to see Kaepernick do well. I think he's much better than Blaine Gabbert. I don't know why it took so long to get to him. He's actually had a pretty good career in the NFL. But I think the Bills are kind of on a nice run right now. I think this is a tough spot for Colin here.
Yeah, this is an interesting game to me. The one thing that I look to is a couple of things. It's going to be interesting to see how Kaepernick does, and Chip Kelly does, finally having that mobile quarterback that he's looked for since he's come into the NFL. So it's going to be interesting to see how he does it, and Kaepernick does, getting on the edge with the read option and whatnot. And the other matchup I look at in this game is San Francisco run defense against the Buffalo Bills rushing attack with LaShawn McCoy. They're down Navarro Bowman. He's out for the year with a torn Achilles. They're down Ahmad Brooks, another linebacker. Jimmy Ward, defensive back, who likes to come up and play run help. He's out. So I think LaShawn McCoy could have a big day, and maybe Tyrod Taylor has a big day running the ball, which he likes to do. What's our line that we're giving here?
7.5.
7.5. I'll tell you, I do. I lean San Francisco in this game. I think that's too many points. I think Kaepernick has a decent day.
Agreed.
Just if he doesn't turn the ball over, I think he'll have a decent day, and I think San Francisco can cover here over a touchdown. I think 7.5 is a good number. Just over a touchdown. That's the direction I lean. I think he hasn't played in how long? He's got fresh legs. They're saying he's in the best shape of his career. So,
and Ryan, he mentally has something to prove. And sure. I think I agree with you. I think Buffalo's off of a high.
Yep.
They're riding high right now. coming into this game, we got the 49ers on the road in a 1:00 game.
Carlos Hyde's been a nice little.
Yeah.
I think you pair Carlos Hyde with Kaepernick, that can be a nice little 1-2 punch there. So it's going to be interesting to see what we see from the 49ers. This is such a question mark game to me that I lean San Francisco. Not a game I'll play by any means, but look. It's such a question mark game that.
Please stop connecting Colin Kaepernick to the military. This is what he's doing has nothing to do with the U.S. military. Clearly, if you've watched anything with what he's trying to do, it has nothing to do with the military. Stop saying he's disgracing the military by kneeling because of the national anthem. He's kneeling because he's sick of the things going on against blacks in this country. Stop connecting it to the military. It's nothing to do with that. This is just his position. I agree with his position. I think he's dead on, and I commend him for standing up, and I think today he will have a big day. I agree with you, Ryan. I'm not all in on Buffalo. I don't think that Rex Ryan's a guy who should be trusted. I don't think Rob Ryan's a guy that should be trusted, and I don't think Tyrod Taylor's a guy that can be trusted. You mentioned it. Carlos Hyde's been very good. They've been a pesky team, San Francisco. My one concern is defensively they haven't been great on the road. They've been awful, actually. One of those games was just a poor effort. I think they gave up 40 points or so, but I'm going to go. No Marcel Darius either today, Ryan.
Yep.
So I'm going to go with the 49ers as well. I agree with you.
Okay.
Can they win? You think?
Sure. Why not?
I will take.
I'm not a big, like you said, I'm not a big believer in Buffalo. Really, can their. I worry about San Francisco's defense as far as being able to win the game. I worry about their defense. They're missing a few really kind of key pieces, Navarro Bowman being one of them. He was having a fantastic year. So I don't think they have enough to win the game. But, if Kaepernick has one of those crazy games that he puts up over 100 yards rushing or whatever, who knows? But I don't see it happen.
Okay, then why'd you bring up the military? What does it have to do with anything? You brought up the military. You think that Colin Kaepernick's trying to disrespect the military. That's what you're trying to do, kid. And, it's funny because that's a typical Trump supporter saying that. I don't mean to bring that up, but, Ryan, what does that have to do with the military at all, by him kneeling?
Look, I don't really like how he's approaching it.
What should he do? It's his estate.
In my opinion, I think he should do something different.
He's donating. He's donating $1 million.
That's fine. Then do that. I don't like the fact that how he's doing it. I don't really feel like talking about this because it's been an ongoing thing for months, but I think he could have handled it a different way, but I have no problem with him standing up for his belief and his feelings towards black rights. So
yeah, good stage to do it on. How about those Buckeyes? Yeah, we know. I mean, okay,
they won.
Congrats. How about the over in Bills, San Francisco? 44.5.
Nate, very windy there. I'm hearing in Buffalo, so that is kind of concerning. So maybe see a lot of running today. That clock just continues to tick. Just something to keep in mind there.
Kid picks, we're having fun. Take it easy. But we all have our opinions. I think Colin. Can they win today, you think?
I don't.
Money line.
I don't think so.
I'm going to take a small shot. Chip Mack, how you doing, buddy? Good to see you. So we'll go Niners, plus 7.5. 1 p.m., Detroit Lions, -3 against the LA Rams. I didn't even write the over-under down in this game. Not sure.
44.5.
44.5, thank you. Detroit off that, to me, Eagles lost.
Lucky win.
Yeah, Eagles giving the game away.
You can say it.
I don't think the Lions did anything in the second half whatsoever to win that game.
Should have been shut out in the second half.
Right. Looked brutal. And that's my question in this game, right? Do you get the Matthew Stafford in the first half, or do you get the Matthew Stafford in the second half? Against this defense who, Ryan, let's be honest, I mean, the Rams' defensive line's fierce. I mean, with Robert Quinn and Aaron Donald and William, from the Hard
Hayes
Knocks?
or whatever?
William Hayes, yeah. Really fierce. And no Theoretic today.
Or Dwayne Washington. They're actually.
So you're bringing in.
They're starting.
Justin Forsett off the street to play in this game. Again, a name, but a veteran minimum. So, not really a guy you want to depend on. You have to figure their run game, which is pretty non-existent for the most part most of the year, will continue to be non-existent. Detroit, not a great run defense either. Todd Gurley should have a pretty decent day. He's been kind of under wraps this year. No DeAndre Levy or Ziggy Ansah still.
No Haloti Ngata either.
Okay, wow.
Out there. Or Eric Ebron.
Yeah. Lions, there are a lot of injuries in this game on both sides of the ball. I know LA's got a big corner out. Tremaine Jackson, he's out. This is a tough one. I'm going to take a shot with the Rams here. Case Keenum, the worst QBR, I believe, in the NFL. I think Todd Gurley is a big day. I marked that down. I think Todd Gurley is going to have a nice day. I'm going to go Rams +3 here.
Yeah, look, this is a real shit game. Really, I just Detroit, the lack of a running game, how much will that hurt him? You have to think that Stafford's going to throw the ball 40 to 50 times today. And then with the Rams, they're coming off a real kind of clunker last week at home against the Bills. A game that a lot of people thought, and we backed them on our show last week. I'll be honest. I think this game in particular is the game I have the least interest in, making a pick, the least interest in watching. The only reason I have semi-interest in it is because I have Matthew Stafford starting today in one of my leagues. Other than that, I have no interest in it at all.
Okay, you don't.
I'll pick. Well, I need to give a pick, so I'll go. I'll side with LA, I guess.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think the game's tough, really tough.
I mean,
the line even says
if any of our listeners out there have like an angle or something that
tips
you in a favor of it, well, because every week you see on Twitter that someone bets these obscure games, and I like to know why.
You're giving the Lions 3 points just at home. That's the angle here.
Well, right.
There's no angle. We'll take a shot with the points here with LA. They seem to play decent in these kind of games, but I'm not in love with Case Keenum. And I will point out, not even close to a game I'm going to be on today. This would be the game that when you're watching, say, well, okay, Rams won,
right,
or whoever won. 1 p.m. Titans -7.5 against the Cleveland Browns. Ryan, if you ask me, this is one of the more perplexing lines I've seen. I'm not sure why the Tennessee Titans are 7.5-point favorites against the Tennessee Volunteers, for Christ's sakes. Tennessee, Ryan, I mean, they're awful against the spread. I mean, how can you bet this team with confidence laying over a touchdown? I know they're playing Cleveland, but is this probably one of the more realistic chances for a win if you're Cleveland this year? Cleveland's not going to lose every game.
Why not?
You would think they'd win one or two, and this is probably your more realistic chance. Ryan, if I continue to break down how bad Tennessee is against the spread, 3-13 over the last 3 years at home against the spread, against teams at losing records, 2-12 against the spread, and they've lost 16 of 18 at home. They're only scoring 13 points a game at home this year, and Tennessee's not good against the run. Cleveland's ran for over 100 yards in 4 or 5 games this year. Mark my words, I like the Browns +7.5 in this game. I think they will have an outside chance to win this football game late. Tennessee, I'm not sold on at all. I like Cleveland. But I'm not.
Look, Papa Bear, you kind of took the words out of my mouth. If McCown was playing, I'd ride with Cleveland as well. But with Cody Kessler, it's just not really for me. The one thing that I like about this game is that I look at is Tennessee is actually one of the healthier teams in the league so far in this young season. You look at Cleveland; they're one of the more depleted teams as far as injuries. With Corey Coleman's out, Joe Hayden is not playing today again.
How can you lay 7.5 points with Tennessee?
Chris Barr actually makes a decent point. I think Tennessee in a teaser is a pretty decent spot. I think Tennessee wins this game. I don't think there's a chance Cleveland wins this game going on the road. And one thing you have to look about too is, and so many of my Eagle followers that I have like to harp on this, and it kind of gets annoying, but it's something to make mention out in this game, is DeMarco Murray has been fantastic for Tennessee so far this year. He has been absolutely fantastic, giving them a spark running the ball, and I think you try and lean on him a little bit. Mariota maybe make some plays. If the 7.5's a tough line, Cleveland's bad though, man, but Tennessee's nothing special either.
I don't know how you can back them with these ATS numbers. It's really bad. I mean, they're really bad against the spread. That's why I'm leaning.
My gut says Tennessee, just because I can't
make a play, right?
I'll go Tennessee.
If
three of their 5 games have been Cleveland have been losses by double digits. The only 2 games that they've lost by single digits was Baltimore by 5 and Miami by 6. I mean, they lost to the Dolphins, for Christ's sake.
Okay, but both those teams are better than Tennessee.
Well, I disagree because Tennessee hammered the Dolphins.
I'm just saying, I don't know how you can feasibly bet Tennessee. They've against teams with losing records, so under 500, they're 2-12 against the spread over the last 14. That is terrible. I'm going to tell you right now, Cleveland wins this game. Mark it down. They will win.
Okay.
They're not going to lose every game, and
Why?
this is a realistic because it doesn't happen. It's the
It
NFL.
does happen.
It's the
Detroit
NFL.
did it a handful of
This
years
line's
ago.
been bet from 6 to 7.5. Public's all over Tennessee.
Okay.
But Public's thinking exactly what you are. Cleveland suck. They have no chance to win. Remember though, Cleveland on the road will lose to any team in the NFL. Listen, I'm aware of that. They're not good at all. But Tennessee is not 8 points better than Cleveland.
Okay.
But we'll go head to head here. You like Tennessee. I'm going to go Cleveland.
I just think Tennessee, I mean, like you said last week, Jeff, too, Tennessee is kind of one of those scrappy teams
They are
that just
scrappy.
seems to
You're
always
right.
kind of battle teams. Battled Minnesota.
Against good teams.
Battled Minnesota. Battled in Houston. Battled Oakland. I don't know. They went into Detroit and won, which is a good win for them. I don't know.
I just can't lay 7.5.
Right, and I'll be honest with everyone out there listening. If this was not, if this is not how we approach the show with looking at every game, this is a game I'm sure none of us would have any interest in.
Sure,
Jeff and I don't think would pick this game to talk about.
Yeah, and that's why
we didn't go over every game.
And that's why I think we're the only people in America that bet on sports that do this. I mean, we just don't. No one else will give a pick for every game and have it on the radio for people to hear.
Right.
Next one, 1:00 p.m. He was out.
Thanks, kid.
Okay. Eagles -3 against the Washington Redskins. Over under 45.5. A couple of injury points. Leonis McKelvin inactive. Good call. Also, Lane Johnson out for indefinitely. If you didn't hear, Lane Johnson, the left or right tackle for the Eagles, out for 10 games due to the PED suspension. Jordan Reed out today. There's been reports that Jordan Reed has 6 concussions.
Six. Going back to college as well is the.
I mean, I don't know how crazy Jordan Reed is in the head. I'm not sure why you would continue to play.
Listen to this, too. Another injury report. Redskins going to be missing both starting safeties in D'Angelo Hall and Brunton today. Su'a Cravens is out today. I mean,
Rashad Breeland in and Josh Norman in, just making those points.
Yeah, no, but I hear you.
Let's just start it out here. First of all, Carson Wentz off his first loss through the interception, which he's trying to make a play there. It wasn't a great throw, but it is what it is. I don't think the Eagles are going to be 16-0 this year, Ryan. So, but again, a game they should have won last week. Now you got to go on the road down to DC and playing a big NFC East matchup. Look, I'm concerned about Lane Johnson not being in there. However, I think with Zach Ertz being back, I think you use Brent Selleck as kind of a sixth blocker on the right side and kind of help Vaitai out a little bit. Look, Vaitai's a big kid. I mean, he's a big Samoan kid, which if you know anything about Samoans and Hawaiians, very strong individuals.
They're tough. They're
correct.
Tough. Yep.
And I think Brent Selleck will slide over, kind of help him to be on that right side there. I think it'll be okay. I'm not in love with it, obviously, though. And look, I don't think you can't chop up the fact that the Washington Redskins have 3 playmakers on offense. Deshaun Jackson, Jameson Crowder, and Pierre Garçon. Not a great run game, but if you can get to Kirk Cousins, it's going to be I think it's going to be a tough day for the Washington Redskins. I really do. I don't think that, defensively they're very good. You look at 2 step-up games for Washington this year against Dallas and Pittsburgh, both lost. Eagles very good on defense. And Washington can't cover at home. 8-12 over the last 20, Ryan, at home. So I think the Eagles bounce back here. I see a wall-to-wall victory here. The only concern I have is, look, I don't think the Eagles' secondary is very good. I'm sorry. I think you saw that last week. I think if Kirk Cousins has time to throw, these playmakers will make plays. I'm concerned about that. Ron Brooks, he's going to struggle, I think, against Crowder. And McKelvin, who didn't really play well last week, I don't know. They have to get pass rush because they didn't really get a pass rush last week, especially in the first half.
Until the second half.
Yeah. They have to get a pass rush.
I think last week was a product of just them kind of coming out flat out of the bye week and playing against a really desperate team in the Lions. And you saw what happened in the second half. They probably should have won that game. To me, I saw a lot of people kind of on, and the line says that the majority of people are on the Eagles, but I saw a lot of people picking, whether it's media, whether it's kind of Twitter people. I saw a lot of people in Washington, and I look at the matchup, and obviously this is a matchup I've looked at all week, just being an Eagles fan. But I try to wonder why they like Washington. Look, I get Kirk Cousins in his career has played well against the Eagles, but this is a different Eagles team, a different Eagles defense. And now they're going to be without Jordan Reed. They're going to be without their 2 starting safeties. I just think that the Eagles are the better team, and I think I'll be honest. Okay, Washington sits at 3-2. They've won 3 games in a row. I still don't think Washington is a very good team. You look at how Washington has won these last couple games over the last handful of weeks. Very fortunate to have won these games. Last week against Baltimore, if what's-his-face for the Ravens doesn't drop that ball at the goal line, he goes in for a pick six, and Baltimore probably wins that game. And then they face Cleveland, which that's a win. Yeah, it's a good win. They pretty much
they're 2 separate games.
And
they've lost.
And then at the Giants, a game that they probably should have lost, had Eli Manning not gift wrapped them 2 interceptions late in that game. So to me, I still don't think Washington's a very good team. I'm not saying the Eagles are Super Bowl contenders either, but I think they're better than Washington is now, and I think Wentz will just continue to carry on. And I think if the Eagles were smart and Doug Peterson was smart, they would run the football today. Washington is the worst, again, I'll say it, the worst rush defense in all of football. They give up over 5 yards a carry, which is dead last in the NFL.
According to Albert Breer, Deshaun Jackson out today for the Washington Redskins. So that's
another big loss.
Is that a parody account? Are we sure about that? I'm not saying your information is not credible, but there are a lot of parody accounts out there.
But if that's true, look, really, if that's true, well, I'm seeing, that is accurate. He is out today. But like I'm saying, that
if you like the Eagles, you might want to get on 3.
Right, and that rush defense for Washington, I think should really get exposed today by a number of backs.
Right, no offense though, I think Eagles are one of the worst run offenses in the league. Honestly, Ryan Matthews is undersized. I think he's not.
Well, that's why it'll be interesting to see how they do today because I think they
maybe some screens.
I think they need to give Kenyon Barner and Wendell Smallwood some more opportunities.
Agreed. Thank you.
I think they need to give them
more opportunities. Where were they last week?
I don't love them, but I don't hate them. I'm talking about Ryan Matthews, but I think they need to give the other guys some more opportunities.
I also think if you Doug Peterson, if you want to make a stand, make Michael Kendricks inactive today. He should not be on the field right now. I'm sorry. I mean, he's look at him in the first half. You take him out and put Bradham in. I mean, really. I mean,
I hear you.
Come on.
And he should definitely be in there all game today.
Yeah, dude, best gamer, he's out. I mean, it's been reported by The Fanatic, which is a local radio station.
I'm not seeing it. Yeah, and I'm not really seeing it here on Twitter, actually. So I'm not sure who reported it.
Albert Breer.
Okay.
From NFL Network.
I'm gonna wait to see it from other sources,
Yeah, but now I'm looking at Albert Breer's Twitter and I don't see it. That might have been
tweeted it.
Yeah, that might have been a parody account.
It's probably old.
So my apologies.
Gambler, like he says, he's not on the inactive report. So
yeah, Kid Picks, that's not correct. I don't think. Again, I'm on Albert Breer's Twitter right now. I don't see that, so we're gonna go ahead and say he's not in. Even in. Right. We have to be giving out good information. Kid Picks, I know you might have gotten hosed there. It might have just been the Fanatic though is right now going through some problems.
He is playing.
Yeah, I don't see him.
He is playing. He's not on the inactive report, so he will be dressed and how much he plays, we'll see. But
yeah, so he's in. But you agree, Eagles to play here -3?
I do. I like the Eagles since the beginning of the week. I just think they're a better team. I think they're going to run the ball pretty well today. I think Wentz will just continue to carry on and play consistent and play well like he has so far this season. And I think Washington isn't very good, to be honest with you. They've had success over the Eagles lately. I think it stops today.
Our friend, this thing we do, who's good with trends and stuff, great numbers. They have not covered a first half, Washington.
He's very good with first half and first quarters. And
I might look to that and fade that because straight up, Washington's not gotten the job done against the spread in the first half.
Good number there, thing we do. Yep.
Yeah, good stuff, brother, as always. So we agree. Eagles -3 in this one.
Yep.
4:05. Let's go to the 4 o'clock games. Kansas City Chiefs -2 at Oakland. Over/under 46. Chiefs have really owned Oakland over the years. Won 3 in a row. Really have kind of been a tough out for the Oakland Raiders. But I think this is probably the strongest Oakland Raider team we've seen in a long time, Ryan. They're 4-1. And their goal is to just kind of outscore you, you know? They're not good defensively, really, but Oakland with Derek Carr and Amari Cooper, they're just looking to outscore you, and they've done that. KC, not really a team that's built like that. They don't score a ton of points, and this defense is not the same. They were shredded last week by the Pittsburgh Steelers on the road. Now you got to go on the road to a hostile atmosphere against an Oakland Raider team that is much better. Ryan, they've only allowed 5 sacks this year, Oakland.
Impressive.
Very good offensive line. And I've talked about it in college. I think you're going to see it in this game. A changing of the guard in the AFC West. I think Oakland is asserting their dominance in this division. I love Oakland at home here, +2. I think it's a very good play. I think they win this game. And I've bet them as a dog this year. Not getting a lot of respect, really. They're covering numbers. I'm not a big Chiefs guy right now. They're not playing great defensively, and offensively, they can't move the football. I like Oakland in this game.
I like Oakland as well. You look at the Chiefs. This team could very well be 1-3. Their 2 wins. You remember Week 1 against San Diego.
Really quick, let me stop you for 1 second. If you're the fanatic, how do you possibly put that information out without looking it up? That is so irresponsible.
Not sure.
I mean, really, all you got to do is go on his Twitter and take a look. How do you do that?
Yeah. Not sure.
Sorry to interrupt.
Yep.
Oakland, you're talking about.
Yeah, I like Oakland.
31 points a game at home this season, Oakland. Trey likes the Chiefs. Why do you like the Chiefs, Trey? Yeah, look, Trey, I don't think the Raiders are going to come to you and say, well, we're really trying to get after you defensively today. They don't try to do that. They're looking to outscore you, and that's just their goal. I'll take a shot with them at home here. Just not really looking to fade them. Oakland +2. Yeah, money coming in on the Chiefs. Seahawks, Ryan, your counterpart, Matt Ryan, having a big year, leading the NFL. 1,740 passing yards. He said 10 40 or more yard completions and 26 20 or more yard completions. Is he the MVP candidate or what?
So far, after 5 games, yeah.
I mean, 10.4 yards per completion. However, now you got to go up to Seattle. And have you looked at the weather report?
In Seattle, it was raining last night.
Rainy, gusty winds,
Yep.
raw. Seahawks laying 7, over-unders 45. This is an interesting game because now you got a high-flying Atlanta team coming into an outside atmosphere in the rain. And, you know, how are they gonna fare? I think it plays right in Seattle's hands here. Kind of an ugly, down and out game. Good defense. I'm not ready to anoint. I'm not ready to anoint the Falcons defensively. I think it's a big clash in styles, and I will point out, Ryan, Jimmy Graham, 2 straight 100-plus yard receiving days. Atlanta's been vulnerable against the tight end this year. I'm going to go with Seattle here. I think this is a tough spot for Atlanta. I think Chris Barr, another good play. Maybe you put the Seattle Seahawks in a teaser, get them down to near pick'em. Matt Ryan's been great, but that's been in a dome with no rain or wind. I'm going to go with Seattle here. I think they win like 21-13 or something, 24-14, something like that. I think Atlanta's hamstrung here, and their defense has issues today.
Yeah, Seattle at home, coming off of a bye. Atlanta, this is their third really kind of just like tough emotional game in a row. Remember 2 weeks ago they had the big emotional win at home against Carolina. Then they go out to Denver and beat Denver, that's a very impressive win last week. Now they have to go to Seattle, and everything just kind of doesn't set up in their favor with the conditions. They like to throw the ball. That's worrisome. And they play a team that gives up 13 points per game. I'll side Seattle for just pretty the obvious reasons actually. I think Atlanta struggles today to really score points. But if they come into this game and not win, but I mean, if they do win, but if they only lose by a field goal or so, and really kind of this game's close, wire to wire, Atlanta's a team I think people would really need to start believing in. But back-to-back road games, I think, is a tough situation.
And a nice point, Ryan. Seattle off a bye. They should be ready. Game plan should be crisp and ready to go. I think defensively they're going to be ready to go. Another good point, Falcons have covered every first quarter this year.
Yep.
I get a feeling today it's different
Okay.
for whatever reason. By the way, back to the Raiders. They're my favorite play of the day, Ryan. I think they win the game, and I'm very high on the Raiders
All right.
today. Very high. But we'll go Seahawks -7 here in this one. Pouring rain all day in Seattle, leaning under. Yeah, I considered that as myself. But from a standpoint of, I haven't had a lot of luck betting unders with Seattle. Seems like every time I bet their unders, they score 35 points. They just kind of always seem to go over. So I'm going to take a shot with the Seahawks in this one. Next one, big one, Ryan. Great game here. 4:25 Eastern. You get the Green Bay Packers laying 4.5 against the Dallas Cowboys over under 47. I think a lot of people in Philadelphia are really big Packer fans today.
Of course.
Rooting heavily for Green Bay. Ryan, right now I think today will be a huge game in deciding if Dak Prescott will continue to be the quarterback for the Cowboys. I think he's probably won the job. But if he can go into Green Bay and beat Aaron Rodgers and the Packers, I think I don't know how you could take the kid off. They've come out and said, the Cowboys, that Tony Romo's the quarterback. But this kid's playing well. Hasn't thrown a pick. Just kind of really just been great. Quickly, Ryan, Green Bay have dominated as a favorite of 3.5 to 9.5 points over the last 3 years. 14-5 to that number over the last 3 years. They've covered 12 of 18 at home, and they've covered both home games this year. Really good offense this year. We know Aaron Rodgers is very efficient. He should pick apart his own defense for the Cowboys. Are you ready to anoint the Cowboys defense yet? No, right?
Probably not.
They've been
no.
pretty good, but now you get a real offense on the road.
Only thing I'll say about Dallas is they haven't beaten a team with a winning record. Well, I guess you could say Washington now, but they really haven't beaten a team with a winning record yet.
Right. And, I think a lot of people have been waiting for them to face a team,
an upper echelon team.
Yeah, I know. And last week, you could maybe say it was Cincinnati, but Cincinnati,
they've shown that they're nothing special so far.
And it was at home as well.
Sure.
I do want to point out, we have to mention how good Ezekiel Elliott's been. I mean, he is, listen to this, Ryan, 31 first downs himself that leads the NFL. He has 11% of his rushes are 10 or more yards. The kid's just been gashing it. And we have to exploit the ineffectiveness of stats when it comes to Green Bay against the run. Ryan, they've given up 48, 30, 50, and 43 rushing yards. Pretty good, right?
Yeah.
Let's take a listen to who they've played. Probably the 4 worst rush offenses in the NFL. Jacksonville, who has no rush game. Minnesota, Detroit, and the Giants.
Yep.
The 4 worst rush offenses in the NFL. Who couldn't defend those run offenses? Now they got to face a real rush offense. I don't see it here. However, I think Aaron Rodgers will do enough, kind of assert his dominance as the real quarterback in the NFL. I'm going to lay the number here. I think the Cowboys lose a tight one, 27-20. I'm going to go Green Bay in this one.
Yeah, I've been picking against Dallas seemingly all year, and all year they just seem to kind of be. Well, I backed them actually against the Niners a few weeks ago, but other than that, I've been just kind of going against them, and they've seemed to be burning me. I want to back them here, but this will be Dak's really first kind of really difficult matchup and difficult game. Going to Lambeau Field, a 4:30 kick. That place will be going crazy. And Dallas historically doesn't have success in Lambeau Field all time. I think they have something like maybe 1 or 2 wins all time at Lambeau Field. They really, really struggle there. I think Rodgers has a big game. You saw them last week get a big home win against another NFC East team, being the Giants. I think they win this game somewhere around 31-24, somewhere in that 31-20, somewhere in that range.
Yeah, I think the over. A good point by you, Ryan. What did I have written down here?
All points.
A lot of points. Sorry.
Oh, okay.
Over. Yeah, I think the over is a pretty good play as well. So is that the play you're going to give out here, Ryan?
I'd go Green Bay. Yeah.
Okay, you're going to give out Green Bay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that wraps it up, Ryan. No James Starks though. Eddie Lacy's going to have to get going.
And he's been doing pretty well lately. So. Yep.
All right, let's wrap up our NFL plays here, Ryan, and give out our consensus games here. We were both on the New England Patriots -7. I'm on Baltimore +3.5. You're on the New York Giants -3.5. We both like the Panthers -3, and we like the over 53.5 in that game. We like the Steelers -7. We like the Bears -2.5. We like the Niners +7.5. We like the LA Rams +3. We both like the Eagles -3. I like the Browns +7.5. You like the Titans -7.5. We both like Oakland +2. That's my best bet today. We like the Seahawks -7, and we like Green Bay -4.5. Panthers are -2.5 now.
Damn.
Why? How? What do you mean?
What happened there?
What? Is Cam Newton not playing?
Yeah.
What?
Well, if he wasn't playing, that.
Yeah, let's look. Again, we've had great information on the show today. Let's make sure of that.
Well, I wonder why the big line movement. I really kind of wonder that. -3. I'm seeing -3 now. Yep.
Oh yeah, it was always 3. What?
What did you have?
I think I was looking at the wrong game. My fault. I don't. Whatever. -3.
Yeah, they're -3.
We gave them
They've been -3.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. I must have looked at the wrong game. All right, so those are the games, Ryan. A lot of games. We went head-to-head on a couple of them. But should be a fun week 6, as always. Couple news and notes, Ryan, for college football yesterday. Brian Kelly benches Deshaun Kaiser in the middle of the game to provide a momentum boost.
It worked.
How'd that work out for you?
How long have I been saying Brian Kelly's a dope, Jeff? Have I not been saying that for a long time?
Yeah,
I wonder how long this is going to last. He's a loser.
I think it's time
he's
for
a
them
loser.
to seriously take a good look at this guy. I mean, he's proved time and time again that he's not very good. I'm sorry. But, yeah, they lose another one to Stanford, and it's not getting easier because they have another tough schedule to finish out the year. They may not go bowling. Actually, they probably won't go bowling because they only have 5 or so games left, and they need 4 wins. That schedule isn't kind to the Irish.
Mm-hmm.
Bush Jones concedes that Alabama's too good for Tennessee. I think we knew that already, though, right? Mm-hmm. Butch Jones calling the kettle black. I think we all knew that he wasn't any good. Trey's saying that Brian Kelly's been great in his tenure at Notre Dame, and do you want to elaborate on that, Ryan?
I'm just not a Brian Kelly fan, really.
The writing's on the wall. That program, he needs to win, and he hasn't.
I don't really like the way that he kind of handles himself. I don't like the way that he. I don't like the way that the way he does things. I think pulling Deshaun Kaiser yesterday is. I mean, Deshaun Kaiser, in my opinion, is one of the better quarterbacks in college football right now. That's my opinion. Whether you agree with it or disagree, I don't care. But that's my opinion. I think what Deshaun Kaiser has done and I'm sure the pressure that dude's feeling is he has to go out every week and they need to score 40 points in order to win. And, defense played okay yesterday, I guess, but it's not like Stanford had anyone really. But, look, he took them to the national championship a few years ago, and they got rolled by Alabama. Other than that, Brian Kelly, to me, and Trey, I'm sure you remember this better than anyone. How did they do in the bowl game last year, Trey? Your Buckeyes absolutely, who I backed in that game, absolutely pounded Notre Dame. I mean, those are the kind of games that you can't have being a Notre Dame head coach, in my opinion. You just can't do it. So I'm just not a big Brian Kelly guy.
He's been there 7 years. There's been several good years. The wheels have fallen off. It's time to move on. He's a toxic coach. He makes poor decisions in game.
And he makes tons of excuses.
Right.
He never looks at himself in the mirror, and that's kind of the big thing that I have a problem with. He always just kind of just blames other people and never takes, perfect example actually against NC State. His game plan for that game was just, idiotic. So just idiotic.
And then he blamed the one game on a hurricane. Big fucking deal. Other teams played in the Hurricane.
Right.
NC State played in the fucking Hurricane and won.
Yep.
It's just been too long. The wheels have fallen off. I mean, it's time to move on.
10-3 last year, 8-5 the year before, and 9-4 the year before that in 2013. And then 2012 is the year they go to the national championship game. I mean, that was 4 years ago, and the years since then have been mediocre to poor. I mean, really. I mean, you're not gonna wow people with 8 and 9-win seasons at Notre Dame. I mean, you're Notre Dame. You're supposed to have 10-win seasons for the most part every year and be in national championship consideration every year. So.
And in a tremendous display of foreshadowing, take a listen to this, Ryan. After the loss last night, Kelly's reported to have gotten into a heated exchange with a Stanford strength coach.
Yes.
Keller later told reporters the coach brushed him and said, bye-bye, which would imply the coach was gone at South Bend.
And apparently from reports, it wasn't a pretty altercation. It was pretty kind of vulgar and so.
Yep.
I just... Yeah.
And it's interesting because I'm pretty sure it was the strength coach that he fired last year.
Maybe.
Do you remember? No, it's reported right here.
Oh, okay.
Interesting. How about that?
That was.
So maybe foreshadowing that Brian Kelly's days are numbered at Notre Dame. Would you take a shot with Les Miles there, maybe?
No.
Okay. Interesting. Because you've mentioned you like Les Miles.
I do like Les Miles. I'm just not so sure that Les Miles is...
I say you bring back Bob Davis.
I don't think Les Miles is an answer to a program right now. He's old. His offense like he's shown at LSU, has just, for whatever reasons, just hasn't been there. I just don't think Les Miles is the answer to people. Right
Can we anoint Mike Leach as the best coach in America, please? I mean, this guy just gets better and better to watch because the games are awesome. His games are sweet.
Awful.
But he's the best, dude.
No, he's not.
He's the man.
He doesn't win anything.
He doesn't run the ball ever. It's sweet.
He doesn't win, though.
Ryan, I'm fucking being sarcastic. Shut up.
No, you're not.
Clearly.
You love Mike Leach.
I do love Mike Leach. Clearly, he's not the best coach in America. I'm just having fun here. And at the end of the day, they won. I think Bob Davies should be get back to being the coach at Notre Dame. I think he's the answer. Bring back Tyrone Willingham, for God's sake.
Bring back Willingham, right.
The young Buckeyes, Ryan, continue to impress, beating Wisconsin last night in a game that they probably had no business winning. But when it came down to it, they won, and that's what Urban Meyer does. It sets up a couple weeks down the road a gigantic showdown against the Wolverines.
You would think both teams would be
Ann Arbor.
No, it's in.
Okay,
it's in the Horseshoe. Yeah.
Sorry.
You would, you would think that both teams would be undefeated, and you got to tip your hat to
that
to
Samuel kid is good.
Yeah, look, and I don't know that game to me. And look, Wisconsin defensively is fantastic. Offensively, they seem to be a little inept at times, and the play calls in overtime really were kind of really perplexing to me. But tip your hat to Ohio State. They have another road night game next week in Happy Valley, which they shouldn't have an issue with. But it really sets up kind of the only two really hiccups for Michigan left are Michigan State, you could say, on the road, which they've looked really bad, and Iowa, who hasn't looked very good. And then, Ohio State, like I said, they play Penn State, and the only other really kind of tough game they'll have is, you would think, Nebraska and maybe Michigan State. But, tip your hat to Ohio State, man, because that wasn't looking good for a while.
I'd like for you to consider to stop mentioning Michigan State as a formidable opponent.
I know.
This team gave up 54 points yesterday to Northwestern, for Christ's sakes. Yeah. Ryan, I do believe you're on the right side in Indiana. It was a bad loss. Poor loss. You should have won that game.
Yeah, that's unfortunate.
Indiana should have covered. Florida State beats Wake, but it wasn't easy. North Carolina upends Miami, which I think we both kind of said it. Miami's
tip of the hat to Donnie Rightside, too. He came
overrated.
out on the show on Wednesday and gave that as a free premium play to everyone. So,
and a little birdie said that North Carolina would win, Ryan. Remember that? Great call by Donnie.
Donnie did say that, yeah.
No, I did, actually.
Okay.
If you go back and listen to the show, I said they'd win outright.
Oh.
Donnie did say, though, he brought that game up to end the show. It's a great call by him. Donnie Rightside always comes on and gives up quality information.
Sure does.
Who's going to stop Barrett, Weber, and Samuel? Well, I think Wisconsin kind of gave you that blueprint in the first half, dude.
Sure, I think Michigan's front. I know for whatever reason I guess you think that they're going to hammer Michigan again this year. I really think.
Obviously, he doesn't watch Michigan.
Well, I
much.
just think that this year Michigan has the front seven to
Yeah.
kind of slow down.
Agreed.
Slow down Ohio State.
And I'll tell you what, Michigan secondary is fierce.
And if you look, Ezekiel Elliott really hurt them last year. Barrett did too a little bit, but mostly it was Ezekiel Elliott.
I think there's one thing we can agree with. It's not going to be a blowout. Put it that way. It's going to be close to the
don't
vest,
think so,
just like that game last night. Alabama, again, continues to put up 49 points. They put up 49 points every game. Batter Tennessee.
One of my plays of the day there. So
Yes.
I split 1-1, but
Yes.
that was one of them.
Vatech loses. How about that? The newly ranked Hokies lose on the road at Syracuse. A bad loss there. What else do we have here? Arkansas. What a win for the Razorbacks at home.
It's a big win.
Against Ole Miss.
Clemson escapes again somehow. A team that I just am sick of. I mean, really, NC State's kicker misses it was a chip shot. I mean, it was a chip shot field goal, a 33-yard field goal that he just pushes for whatever reason, and Clemson escapes and gets lucky, and that's all you can say.
I wouldn't say that I'm a fan that would ever.
Yeah, Clemson storms the field.
Yeah, and you see it in college a lot with Trey. Clearly, just the absolute disgusting obsessions with teams. I don't understand how you can be so obsessed with a team that nothing can go wrong. They won't do anything wrong ever. Never. I mean, to say they're going to lay 10 to Michigan is absolutely idiotic.
Yeah, I don't think
completely moronic.
I don't think he'll be laying 10.
I get you like the team, but again, they're not God's gift to earth. They do make mistakes at times. Scott Weaver's the same way.
Right.
And Scott will tell you. Scott Weaver thinks that Clemson is literally a glorified light from God that cannot do anything wrong at all.
He said that that's what good teams do, win those
games.
I mean, you're right to a degree, but at least come out and say that they got lucky. Because they did.
Right.
Because they did.
So, okay, you barely beat Troy.
Yeah.
Right.
They've struggled all year.
Right. And yesterday...
They struggled all year.
Which, they turned them over 5 times. Probably should have lost. Kid misses 2 field goals in the game. One of which... Dude, the fact that they stormed the field...
That's another thing.
You're third in the country.
Right.
And you stormed the field.
NC State ranked second? Or?
Wow. That's unreal.
You know my beef I have with the whole storming the court or storming the field thing? I think it should be a special occasion. That is pathetic.
Agreed.
Really pathetic.
Right.
So
who cares about a look-ahead line? Really? Is that the line? It's not the game. Trey, listen, I would be willing, if you're willing, and I'm going to say it right now on the show so you hear me and everyone else hears me. I did the same thing to your friend Paul Allen last year, or 2 years ago, whatever it was.
It was last year.
Okay, it was last year. I'm willing, whatever the opening line is, I'm willing to bet Michigan. And we could do it we can do it for charity or something, whatever you want. I'm willing to bet, I'll go 500 on the game. I'll bet you $500. We'll take the opening line from the book of your choice, and I'm willing to bet Michigan. So, Trey, the money's there. Put your money up if you're that confident. I'm putting mine up. I'm willing to put the money up. I'm asking. You seem to always have something to say about Ohio State. I'm going to go with Ryan's boys here. I mean, you want to play?
I guess that's a no.
Okay. Well, like Paul, it was a no to him too. I'm in. The offer's there. The offer is there until the game starts. I'm willing to bet you $500. I'll take Michigan.
I mean, yeah, whatever.
So, I'm putting it out there. Dude, not for nothing. I'll put my money up that they win.
But Trey,
the game.
you said you think they're going to hammer Michigan. You've tweeted that multiple times.
Trey, I'm a little confused
you've
here.
You've really tweeted that multiple times. Me being a Michigan fan, I don't miss that. I see that.
I'm just not sure, Trey, where you get off here. I mean, I agree with you. You just said the line will be 10. You just said that you've multiply said it several times. You think they're going to kill Michigan. It's going to be similar to the game last year. That were your words, I believe. You're correct, right, Ryan?
I've seen him tweet multiple times. They think they're going to pound Michigan, and if you think that, then 10 shouldn't be an issue.
Yeah.
But then again, that's just the look-ahead line. That the line, if both teams are undefeated, I can guarantee you it's not going to be a 10-point line.
I guess the
so
more
you'll probably have to not be laying double digits.
Okay. Well, listen, I'm gonna say this. You maybe just take it as a lesson to just not downplay teams, because I think Michigan has shown they're pretty damn good defensively, and they're getting there offensively. Wilton Spate's not made mistakes. The run game's good. I think it's gonna be a close game nonetheless. So
look, if I'm an Ohio State fan, and Trey, I like to have your opinion on this. And look, Trey, I have no issue. I don't. Obviously, Jeff doesn't have an issue with you either. I don't think anyone has an issue with you, Trey. This is what I enjoy. I like the talking back and forth. Were you at all concerned with the defensive performance from Ohio State last night? Because I feel like if I was a Ohio State fan, that would kind of concern me a little bit. The fact that Hornibrook did make some throws last night down the field, were able to kind of get deep on your secondary, and the way Clement was able to have some pretty nice runs last night. I would like to know.
Yeah, dude,
I'd like to know where you're.
I'm going to tell you right now, I don't think Ohio State's very good defensively. I'm going to tell you that. They're good, but I think their byproduct was they hadn't played fucking anyone until last night. And I'm going to tell you right now, Wisconsin sucks offensively. The fact that they went down the field at will most of the first half against that defense, they sucked. I don't think they were very good. Sorry. I think they were lucky enough to win a game they should have lost.
I'm saying, going forward, is that concerning to you?
No, I'm speaking the fucking truth. You're in a fucking fantasy world that they don't do anything wrong.
Yeah.
They play Colorado, who they beat badly, who's, like you've said several times, one of the best teams up and coming in the country. You've said that several times. Who's Ohio State beating, other than Oklahoma, who's proven they're not very good? Michigan gets to the Final Four, and they're going to possibly beat Ohio State. Just watch. We'll talk more.
Michigan did only win 14-7, but had they not missed 3 field goals, Papa Bear, that game's nowhere even close to that.
Correct.
No, look, I know they missed 3 field goals. It happened.
But it doesn't matter, though, Ryan, because Ohio State struggled as well.
I don't live in what if worlds either.
Right.
But at the same time, look.
So it's their fault that the kicker missed 3 field goals?
Look, you can say what you want about Michigan's schedule, but to say that it's look,
it's hard to argue with someone like this. I'm sorry.
I don't think OSU's schedule has been much tougher anyway. Really. So
now you're just talking dumb. You just said you thought they would blow them out.
Right.
Now you want me to grab the money line on a team you think they should be able to write 10 points and think that's a fair bet?
Yes.
It's idiotic, dude. Yeah. Come on, man.
Yeah.
That's so stupid. Why would I do that? Really? But
Oklahoma's not a top 10 team. Oklahoma stinks.
All right.
My opinion.
All right, we're going to go here. I got to go. NFL, let's have a good day today, Ryan.
Yep. Everyone, good luck. Everyone.
Before we go, what do you have? Eagles. Give me a score. Give me Wentz's line.
I think Eagles win 31. 31-21.
Wow.
I think they score some points today.
10
I really do. I really think they score some points today and they kind of open it up. I do. Trey, I don't think Oklahoma's a top 10 team. I don't think Oklahoma's a top 10 team. And the fact that you think they're a top 10 team, I think is comical. I do. Look, Trey, I saw your quote-unquote top 25 last night. The fact that you have Auburn in there is fucking disgusting, bro. I mean, seriously. I don't get it. I mean,
by the way,
Trey, at the time, good win for Ohio State, sure.
Yeah.
But now to see what Oklahoma is, they don't.
Ryan,
they don't do anything.
I got to ask you a question. Okay, when they were down 16-6, did they not suck last night?
In the first half,
they did not suck.
Look, in the first half,
right.
they didn't play well. No.
Yeah, I mean, what do you want me to say?
I mean, this is an Oklahoma team that lost to Houston, who lost to Navy. Okay, they got pounded by Ohio State. They could have lost to TCU, who blows, and they could have lost to Texas, who stinks. But you think they're back, so that doesn't matter.
They won't lose another game. I disagree. I think they could lose to Baylor. I think they could go to West Virginia and lose. And I think Oklahoma State's a tough game.
They won't lose another game. Yeah, Trey, because Kansas, Iowa State, Baylor, West Virginia, Oklahoma State's murderer's row. I mean, sorry. Big 12 is terrible.
Hey, listen.
Big 12's terrible.
I disagree. I think Baylor will beat them, and I think West Virginia can beat them. West Virginia is really good.
West Virginia's
I mean,
solid.
really.
Sure.
I mean, what they did yesterday against Texas Tech defensively is impressive.
Yes.
So, yeah, dude, I think, I will give you this. You definitely stand your ground on things, but they could have lost it.
Just like you could have lost last night. You guys had a bad first half. We had a bad first. Well, I should say we had a bad first quarter against Colorado. I mean, they could have lost against Colorado, Trey. I mean, really, they were winning at halftime and they blew them out in the second half. Please.
All right, real quick before we go, I just want to go down this thing here, real quick, because I just want to kind of prove a point here.
Only game that's been close for Michigan was that Wisconsin game, which it wasn't even close. Just the final score was close.
Trey, you do agree with how stupid you're talking here. I mean, it's so idiotic. It's not even funny. You basically just said you think that Oklahoma or Ohio State's a 10-point favorite against Michigan. Why would I lay the money line there? That makes no sense at all.
Look, Chris, there you go. Chris will bet it.
Chris, there you go.
There you go. Chris thinks Michigan wins outright.
It just there's no sense. What I said is I'm willing to go half and half. Whatever the opening line is, no matter what it is, I'll take Michigan.
Right.
Whether they're a favorite or they're not. Well, it could be a 4-point favorite. I'm taking Michigan. Whatever the line is. Let's listen to this. Listen to who Ohio State's played. Bowling Green.
They're terrible.
Tulsa.
They're a bad team, too.
Oklahoma.
My opinion.
Rutgers.
Yep.
Indiana. And Wisconsin.
I hear you.
I mean,
I hear you. Look. It's not Michigan or neither or Ohio State have played murderers row really, but that's the schedule they play. We'll learn a lot when they play each other in 6 weeks, 5-6 weeks.
Okay. Last thing we're going to say, and I'm going to go here. I'm willing to bet you whatever the opening line is at whatever book you pick. I will take Michigan for $500. The offer is there to you. Nothing. I'm not saying anything else. Right. Everyone have a great night. We'll see you next week. Wednesday evening, Week 8 College Football Preview. We'll be back, breaking it all down. And everyone, good luck today. Hope to see you at the window. Let's have a big day, Ron, in the NFL. NFL Week 6, having a good time. We'll see you next time on The Big Man on Campus. Have a great day. Bye-bye.